Hello, I'm Jeremy West, and I am here with author Erica Cameron, who is the author of the Dream Wars saga coming from Spencer Hill. Can you tell us a little bit about your book series?
The entire series follows a bunch of teenagers as they try to outwit a group of demons who come into your head while you're sleeping and steal things out of your brain. So nice and light before your bedtime reading.
Kind of interesting storyline. Can you tell us, I know it was pitched as two different things. Can you tell us what it was kind of pitched as?
Well, after my editors read it, they pitched it as Alice in Wonderland meets Beetlejuice, which I actually really loved. It was not what I was thinking when I wrote it, but I can definitely see how it works.
Definitely. What makes the series so interesting is that most of the books actually take place in a dream world. How did you go about writing that, and did it kind of make it nice for you since you can kind of just make up whatever you wanted?
It was really fun because if I wanted to have unicorns, I could throw unicorns in there. If I wanted to have cherry blooms that last forever, and different colors, I can do literally whatever I wanted, which was really, really cool. You can go scuba diving underwater without having to worry about scuba tanks. It's really, really fun to be able to play without the rules of reality having anything to do with it.
Now, can you talk a little bit about your inspiration for the story, and if there were any works of fiction that maybe inspired it, or just where you got that?
Not so much in books, but I definitely was inspired after I started writing by the movie What Dreams May Come. I pulled concepts from that and a few other movies, but the actual life cycle of the book is very strange because it started with a phone call from my friend Lonnie, who was like, we're stowing an anthology of short stories, paranormal. Do you have anything that you could submit? And I didn't, because I don't do short very well. It's not easy for me. But she was like, okay, well, if you come up with anything in the next couple of weeks, let me know. Didn't think I would, but the next morning I was at work, which was at Borders at the time, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm in the back office doing the cash count, and I have my iPod on. And because of Shuffle, I hear these two songs back to back. The first one is Mariella by Kate Nash, and the second one is Creation Lake by Silver Sun Pickups. The character described in Mariella and the question asked in Silver Sun Pickups kind of made me start thinking about this girl who is waiting for the 25th hour of the day. And I didn't know what would happen at the 25th hour of the day. I didn't think there was a 25th hour. I didn't know if the person she was meeting at the 25th hour was good or bad. I just started writing with kind of that concept in mind, and the entire story took shape from there. After I submitted the short story to the anthology that my friend wanted me to submit to, they actually suggested that I turn it into a novel. So I did. In a month in NaNoWriMo during 2011, I converted this short story into the first draft of Sing Sweet Nightingale, the novel version. It was dual perspective from Mariella and Hudson, and it, looking back on it now, sucked.
What was the word count on the first draft?
The first draft was just over 100,000. It was like 101,000.
And that was all in Nano?
And that was slightly over Nano. It was about 5 weeks, but I hit the 50,000 word goal in Nano. So I won Nano that year.
Which is an accomplishment.
Yes, that was kind of amazing. I did not do much else that month except for writing that book. After that, I revised a bunch. I submitted it to a contest from RWA. I actually won that contest, which shocked me. And then I came to BEA just kind of for the heck of it, and I met Danielle and Patricia from Spencer Hill on a rooftop in Tribeca, actually at your party. And I pitched them the idea, and a month later they bought it. It was kind of crazy. I still can't believe
it's weird how it happened.
I still can't believe it happened.
It's crazy.
And then out of all the people that we get to do the cover, it's the person whose party was.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
One last question before we switch gears to the design of the book. But in all the places that you write, is there one favorite place, outside, inside, at the beach?
Yeah, that'd be nice. If it was not so hot in Florida, definitely at the beach. But I actually wrote the entire revision of Sing Sweet Nightingale in one of two chairs at the local Starbucks near my house.
So you had a lot of coffee?
A lot. Actually, the hibiscus refreshers, those are my caffeine drug of choice. But yeah, I've gotten to know the guys who work at the Starbucks really well, and once they figured out what I was doing every day, sitting there for 5 hours after I got out of work, they were actually really excited, and they're I've gotten to show them my cover, and they were all always asking questions, so how's the book going? And it's really, really cool to have people who are kind of rooting you on while you're writing. So yeah, that's definitely, right now until I move, at some point. That's definitely my favorite place to write.
Until you find another Starbucks.
Until I find another Starbucks in a new city.
Alright, when it came to the design of the book, what were some of the earliest concepts and things that you wanted to see in the cover?
Well, I'm not an artistic visual person, like I don't have that sort of talent, but the first idea that I had for a cover for Sing was silhouettes in a bedroom against a really bright portal opening up into the dream world so that you could see both where she was coming from and where she was going. That's really complicated to pull off. But that was the first concept I had. After that, Patricia, Danielle, and I threw around some other ideas, including aerial photography and more of a empty room with a whole bunch of things that had something to do with the book, but again, really complicated to get a whole bunch of tiny items to have impact on a cover. And once they told me that you were going to be designing it, I have seen some of your work and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let him go because it's not my strength and I know that, so I'd much rather trust someone who has the skill set that can see the product before he's even finished it.
Alright, I'm going to put you on the spot for this next question, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think I did on the cover?
I adore this cover. It is fabulous. It is so cool to actually see it. One of my biggest requirement out of every other possible thing was that the cover has something to do with the story. That it's not just, hey look, there's a pretty girl, let's put her on the book. You know, there's definitely one of the main characters is a girl, so having a girl on the cover makes sense, but I wanted the imagery to actually relate back to the story. I didn't want it to just be there to have, like, you know, sex appeal or, you know, just a pretty face. And I think you definitely captured that. You got a lot of the imagery right, and I love it so much.
Thank you. That question was all for me, not for you at all.
That's okay, I don't mind. One of my favorite things about the cover is actually the fact that I have a custom font. That is absolutely amazing and I love it. Can you tell us about how you developed it and where the idea came from and just how hard it was to actually make it work?
Sure, yeah. One of my favorite things is typography. Like, I'm a fiend for just going after and just looking at different typography and just seeing what other people can create. And so when I thought about this cover, we had talked about, you know, cherry blossoms and different plants and flowers that you imagined into the dream world and stuff. And so I wanted to incorporate that in a way that would feel natural but also stand out on the cover. And so it took me a good week at least to find a good script font that I like, because there's so many out there that it's just, it's hard to find. But it took me a while, and then I finally found one that I felt like it could work. And then really it was just a bunch of hassling and like playing around with flowers and, you know, creating silhouettes and leaves and stuff that I thought might work, and just playing around with different flower petals and until we got the final product. And so it's just really a bunch of clicking and dragging and playing around with different things so we got the final product, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm glad you are.
I love it.
Because it took forever.
Yes, and you can tell. You can tell that it was a lot of work and it's really intricate, but not so overdone that you can't read what's there, which I really, really like.
Only 3 more titles to go.
Only 3.
So we're currently working on developing the website. Can you tell readers what they can expect to find? Some behind the series content, some special features that they might be able to look forward to when they visit the website.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to have character lists as well as an index of the gemstones and crystals that are used in the book. It's kind of an interesting thing, but I grew up across, basically my neighborhood is across the street from a New Age store, and a friend of mine would always go in and look at all of the different crystals and amethyst stones, geodes, and I always loved those, and I found a way to incorporate them into the story. But a lot of people don't know that there's actually a whole metaphysical, you know, practice surrounding gemstones. And so I'm going to have a list of the gemstones used in the book and their properties and all of that different stuff. Some deleted scenes, character information, and definitely more as the series goes forward, you know. So as the different books, there's going to be 4, so as the books come out, there'll be more and more characters, more information, more stones, and a lot of pretty pictures.
And finally, here is the cover for Sing Sweet Nightingale by Erica Cameron.
In honor of my debut book's cover reveal, I am giving away a necklace. This amethyst and glass bead necklace will be given away through Armchair BEA and byericacameron.com. You can enter to win, and one lucky person will get a handmade necklace that I put together.
We hope this piques your interest for the series, and let us know what you think of the covers on Twitter. A big thank you to Erica for doing this interview with us.
Thank you for the fabulous cover. I really look forward to not only everybody seeing this one, but the ones that you've yet to make.
They're coming. Also, be sure to add this book on Goodreads and add it to your to-read shelf.
Thank you very much, and hope you enjoyed the cover reveal, and we look forward to your opinions on Sing Sweet Nightingale coming March 2014. To learn more about the series, just visit www.thedreamwarsaga.com.